Alright, here we are with a Kubota B series 3200 tractor. The complaint from users was that this floor pedals for forward and reverse were sticking. You push it down like this and it would come up some of the way, but not all the way. And then as a result, if you didn't have it all the way back, the engine, when you went to start it in between uses, or when you got off it and that sort of thing, the engine wouldn't turn over unless the neutral safety switch said that it was in neutral, and it kept hanging up. I noticed a bunch of people on the internet having the same sort of trouble, maybe on a little bit different tractors, but show what I found on this one. And this is right on the right side of the tractor. Let me get the light. Here's the brake pedals right there, and then the next one in is the forward reverse. Now there's a grease fittings for both of these, which you can see I put a little purple grease on there. But the offending problem for this tractor was actually, and it's kind of hard to see, let me see if I can get a pointer here. This rod right there, let me zoom in a little bit. This rod right there, where this slides through this metal bushing, it was not lubricated much. It was hanging up. Now you can see it's moving through there really good now, but what I did was just squirt a bunch of oil on it, and you can see I kind of got a little sloppy with the oil, but it was hard to get it oil can back there. Now you could probably use LPS2 PB blaster, something like that. Those are a little lighter. This is actually like a 30 weight type motor oil, but WD is probably a bit light, and it's more of a solvent, not a lubricant, so I wouldn't use WD-40. Anyway, I also found that the neutral safety switch itself here it is. This had a lot of resistance on it, and it would make sort of a noise from the spring when you can kind of hear it. Well, it's still making that noise a little bit, but what I did was just pry this off of the end, and it takes a bit of work because it's on there, but and then just stick an oil can in that rubber bellows, and stick a couple squirts of oil in there, and then exercise it some. Oil is not bad for electrical contacts. In fact, some of the heavier duty switches for like power lines, I believe, are encased in oil to keep the oxygen away from them. But anyway, that should work smoother too. With this neutral safety switch is open in forward and reverse, and then in neutral a rod comes out and it actually has to push this in. So in order to get to neutral, it's got to push this thing in, and that can add enough resistance to kind of hang it up a little bit. So hopefully we've solved the problem on this. And this is a pretty heavy duty switch, but it does take a fair amount of pressure to push this switch to close it so that you can start the mower. And unless it's in neutral and this thing is pushed in, it's not going to turn over. Where this is located, it is located, fits right in this slot. And sorry, my light is kind of washing everything out, so I'll try to move it a little bit. There's a bunch of pipes and stuff, but I don't know if you can see there's a slot right here. Let me try to get a little bit better light. Sorry about this, folks. There we go. I think that's going to do it. You can see right there, it's a slot. And that is where this thing slides in there. And like I said, because it is something that has to be pushed in when for the thing to work, it's you got to push it in or have somebody hold down the go lever here to pull it back. Now there's a lock for that right here, which you can just push forward, and that kind of holds that thing back. And then we should be able to just stick this switch back in there. The tricky part on this other gun is that you don't have a lot of clearance to stick a wrench in there and tighten up those lock nuts. But that is, and then the connector is on up in there for the other end of this switch. I had to use a really long set of these things to squeeze the back end of it to get it to come open. Otherwise, you can take the seat, the cover off. Some people had talked about taking these bolts loose and taking this cover off and stuff in order to get at it, but I found it was a little easier just from underneath. Well, I hope that helped you out, and appreciate you watching. Good luck with your Kubota tractor.